Joining me today on Impact Catalyst is Clayton Lewis Ferrara, who is the Executive Director of Ideas for Us, based in Orlando. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you having me.
And with so many syllables, I think you said you're okay with Clay.
Please, let's keep it to 4-letter words.
4-letter, I like it. Well, let's dig in a little bit, get people up to speed with what Ideas for Us is, and then we'll go from there.
Of course. So Ideas for Us, we are an environmental action organization. We started our journey being founded in a dorm room back in 2008 at the University of Central Florida. But we certainly didn't stay there. We've grown now to do work in 30 different countries around the world, projects ranging in things from energy, water, food, waste, and ecology. But we're particularly dedicated to localized community action. So all types of things from urban agriculture to workforce training, wetland plantings, pollinator gardens, you name it. And over the last 2 years, we've had a wonderful expansion into the St. Pete area from Orlando. And we're just excited to see that continue, especially in a post-COVID world.
So when you have such a wide variety of projects, what's sort of the underlying mechanism or path that you walk to end up at all these different projects?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to sum that up is we do a really good job bringing together diverse stakeholders in the community. We realize that sustainability has a lot of intersections in it. And when you understand some of those intersectionalities of local government, businesses, college students, young professionals who are just out of college and are beginning their careers, and you kind of see the importance of kind of melding those conversations together. We tend to focus on topics that people can understand are global, but see clearly manifesting locally. And through human-centered design thinking workshops and ideation that we do, we formulate action projects. So our goal as an organization is to come up with different kinds of action projects that we can launch in the community that have a measurable outcome. And ultimately, if they work, they can evolve into programs that we can then scale across our whole network.
So what is the thing that these ideas emerge from? Do you have a general meeting to just farm ideas, or do you have specific topics and then try to get folks that fit that topic? Or what's that how's that work?
Yeah, great question. So we have 5 different focus areas at Ideas for Us: energy, water, food, waste, and ecology. And we realize that people aren't always interested in all of those things, but mostly they're curious and want to continue learning more. So each month, the way that our program works is we have a general meeting for the public where people can show up. And at that particular meeting that happens monthly, there's a new topic every single month. So one month it'll be something to do with energy, maybe the renewable energy mix in the community. Then the next month it'll have to do with maybe problems that are facing the Tampa Bay, region around ecological or water-based things. So it gives a lot of variance, and that way we can have different crowds come through and intersect. But at the action projects that spin out of these particular meetings, we see a really nice overlap of people who are wanting to come out and experience new things.
And you have one specific initiative that you've been working on that's a funded initiative. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So we have something that's called the Solutions Fund. And the Solutions Fund is essentially a pool of money that we have supported by philanthropic donors. So our businesses that stand with us and provide funding for these pilot projects, also foundations and such in the community will provide funding for this. And what we then do is offer it to the communities in which we operate, help to train people on particular ideas that they have for advancing sustainability. Maybe it's an urban agriculture program. Maybe it's finding a way to take part in aquaculture, right? And we'll then basically build a concept around this and find a way to turn it into a program if it turns out to be a viable project. Very often there's a big disconnect between the ideas that are happening into a community and how they go from being just an idea into an actionable project. So there are plenty of other foundations that are focused around startups or venture capital or those types of things. But very often in the community, there's no one to help get an idea off the ground initially. So that's kind of our niche with the Solutions Fund.
Hmm. And so, and we find that as well, the nonprofits that we work with, it seems to be that, the execution or activation or operational support, just actually doing it, there's money, there's ideas, there's studies, there's stats. When you choose projects, is there a specific skill set, or is it more just general brain power and labor, or is there a specific niche that you try to bring your skills to?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, and it really is across the board. We've done projects where we've gotten community members engaged in small scale solar installations, or being able to bring solar panels to community art projects to light them at nighttime. We've had other projects that experimented with turning front lawns into gardens and then sharecropping the food to local farmers markets. And for each one of those, we internally, as an organization, have a lot of subject matter experts that have been doing this all over the world for a long time. But we also reach out to the community. So we'll bring in people who are experts in those particular areas from the community that we're working and have them right alongside us as partners. Mutualism is a really important value for our organization. And, just kind of, I think in our ethos as an organization for often very scarce resources, makes much more sense to team up and pull everybody forward together. So very important, especially in a place like Tampa Bay area where and St. Pete, where you have so much of an environmental legacy already established, especially around the Bay. So we want to make sure to be as inclusive as possible to learn from these other groups, because we are new to the region, but not new to this particular approach, which has been really successful.
Right. It sounds fun. It sounds smart. It sounds like being an environmental ninja to some extent. So with all
that's a good way to put it.
And so with all you've seen, obviously we'll link to the website and give people a chance to get directly involved. But if people are watching this and they're now in a mood of that sounds cool and they want to do things like that, what are some ideas or things you've seen that the individual can do, maybe outside the box a little bit, that to accomplish some of those goals, even today or in the next week?
It's a wonderful question. Well, I think I would direct people to our website for starters, which is ideasforus.org. That's a great place to click around and kind of learn about what we've done. We have an archive of all of the projects that we've done since we built our website on there, and people can get an idea of the diversity of things that we work in. But there are so many amazing examples. One of our particular projects, we wanted to focus on how can we grow food hyperlocally for people that are refugees, particularly refugees in sub-Saharan Africa. And this was something that our Uganda group was working on. Well, they came up with a invention that looks like a box, and it's a vertical micro gardening system. And they're able to cram 300 square feet into this box and grow a very large amount of vegetables in it. Well, this went on to win something called the Holt Prize, which is a prize from Oxford University for refugee innovation and relief type projects. So our whole team that had worked on this from Uganda was flown over to Oxford, and their first time out of Uganda, and given an award for this awesome project. Now, that young gentleman who launched this has turned it into his own company, and is going and hiring people from his community and proliferating these types of solutions. One of our projects called Fleet Farming emerged from the hive as well and was funded by the Solutions Fund. That project began in Orlando, and the idea was we grow so many millions of acres of front lawns. We know they do damage to our springs with runoff and fertilizer. We can't even eat it, so it is quite a waste, not to mention the carbon that goes into caring for lawns and the water, which is a big issue here in Florida. I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with. But we wanted to turn the lawn into a beautiful organic garden, and then sharecrop the food to food deserts. So whatever the homeowner didn't eat, we figured, okay, let's bring that to communities that don't have access to fresh produce, and expand farming there as well. And this has been something we've been doing since 2014, again, emerging from the hive. So really exciting in the fact that wherever a hive starts, it kind of directs its own destiny by what are the things that that community wants to focus on.
Wonderful. Well, enjoy the conversation. Thank you for your time. Again, we'll put the website and all that good stuff below, and I encourage everyone to check it out. I have, and there's some really cool stuff on there. Clayton Lewis Ferrara from Ideas for Us. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's a pleasure.